Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about how your energy is creating your reality. And I'm going to share a lot of personal examples. So we'll see if maybe it resonates with you as well. And of course, the purpose of this channel is to make self improvement practical. So, of course, we will also be talking about practical tips and how you can, institute this into your life. Welcome to the channel. I am chugging coffee like my life depends on it right now because it does. I have a project management and psychology research background, and my interest is in growth, mindset, and self improvement, but specifically making it tangible and making it tip oriented and basically stuff that is not so high level and conceptual that it can't actually be like integrated with your life. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, first off, I want to ask if you've ever noticed that you can walk into a room and say nothing and people will still feel you, or maybe you've seen that with someone else. Maybe you notice the difference between a good day and a bad day, and how you show up in the world is maybe impacting how other people are treating you. Or maybe you know that one person who everyone loves, and it's just like it's not clear to you why, it doesn't matter, they're not perfect, but for some reason they never have an altercation with someone, everybody loves them, and it just seems like things sort of unfold in front of them perfectly. Well, today I'm going to talk about how energy is truly magic, and not going to be like too woo woo with this. I'm actually going to like really bring us down to earth as well, and sort of unpack this. So, energy is actually also your nervous system state. It is your emotional baseline, your internal story, your level of self trust, and your somatic signals like posture, tension, breath, and eye contact. And something happened over the weekend to me that inspired this video. Basically, I totally like screwed myself over and got stuck in a snowbank on somebody else's property. Long story how this happened. It was really terrible, and I was stuck there for a very long time. But basically, the owner came out and she first started to like yell at me and get mad at me because like clearly I shouldn't have gotten myself into that situation. But I was so apologetic immediately that all of a sudden I noticed this shift in her, and literally from 1 second to the next, she was first like yelling at me, and then all of a sudden she like totally changed her energy, and she like became so sweet and helpful and stuff like that. And I know this may seem like you might just be like, well, yeah, you were just like nice to her. But I think if somebody is like actually like, on a rise, like they are like super, super pissed off. And then all of a sudden, I swear it was a millisecond and everything changed. And I had hardly said anything. It was really just because of the energy that I was putting out. So we'll talk about some other examples as well. But moving on, let's first talk about the loop and about how what you put out comes back. So there's three mechanisms. A is emotional contagion. So humans mirror each other unconsciously, and that is a thing. Like even like just physically, people tend to mirror each other's like movements or mannerisms. So if you're anxious, others feel uneasy. If you're calm, others relax. Your state spreads. And I think that people really adjust to your state, and we may not be aware of that, but that is actually a mechanism or a skill that we can use to our advantage. Number two, or B, is confirmation bias. So your brain filters reality to match what you expect. So if you believe like people don't respect me, you will notice micro signals that confirm it. Or if you are thinking that opportunities are everywhere, you will see them. And the thing that I like to tell myself, it's like a mantra I made, is like every code can be cracked. Like I like saying that. And I've had times in my life where like it literally like years I would struggle with the same thing. And then all of a sudden, one day I would like crack the code. And if you believe that one day you can crack the code, like you will crack the code at some point. So energy directs perception, perception directs action, action creates outcome. And honestly, that is magic. Like I feel like undeniably, like that's amazing. That's inspiring. And if you believe it, why not use it? So, lastly, mechanism three, behavioral feedback loops. So, if you show up guarded, people will hold back and you will feel rejected. If you show up generous, people will warm up and you will feel supported. You are constantly co creating the response you get. I really urge you to think of some real life examples for you. I definitely also have like some people in my life that I feel like they are maybe slightly more pessimistic. And in some ways, that actually really helps them. Of course, sometimes pessimism is also an advantage. If you're like always optimistic, you may not like plan for the future as well, or you may not sort of create safeguards in your life. But at the same time, I do feel a lot of the time, if you are more optimistic and less pessimistic in your personality, you'll be like a cat. Like, I don't know what like the saying is, but like you'll always land on your feet kind of. And I do really think that I notice that in my life if I compare just different personalities that I see in my life. So think about that for yourself. Another example that I will share is that I went on like an exchange, like a hospitality exchange years ago when I was younger. And basically like everybody was always complaining that at this hospitality place or like working in tourism that you'd always get yelled at by the customers, and I never got yelled at the entire multi-month exchange. And I realized after that it was because I always like showed up with like I kind of just assumed that everybody was going to be nice, and then they were, when I feel like a lot of my coworkers had been kind of, it wasn't their fault, like scared by our predecessors who were always saying like, oh, you're going to get yelled at, and then they sort of were a bit defensive. And then when there was something like, like when there was some sort of opportunity for an altercation, then things like emotions would escalate from the guests or the customers. So yeah, I think just reflect in your life, how do you see this show up? Moving on, there is a dangerous side to this. So, energy works both ways. If you gossip, you attract distrust. If you move in scarcity, you create competition. If you operate from resentment, you reinforce it. So, your private state becomes public result. And that's why I think it's really important that I've also talked about like if people are doubting you, like you don't want to be toxic in like trying to be vindictive or trying to like prove them wrong. I think just like try to, this sounds so corny, but like move in like love and kindness always, and you will come out on top. So when it comes to changing what comes back to you, I'm going to give a couple practical tools. So regulate before you enter. Never enter rooms dysregulated. Breathe, slow down, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. State first, strategy second. This resonates with me as well, maybe with you too. I've had times where like I thought that I was like totally chill, and then my friend would come up to me like, "Why are you so anxious?" And I hadn't said a thing. Like it was just like my, like she literally like called me out immediately. I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm so scared. So people will see through you. Like people, it doesn't matter like if you're a good actor, like people will know. You receive what you give. I have kind of already covered that. And lastly, assume positive intent. So watch how differently people respond when you expect respect. And it's also about boundaries and stuff, right? Like with friends, with romantic relationships, with family. If you like sort of have that self-respect, people will respect you. So again, it goes so many different lanes of life. This applies. So change your energy and watch your reality rearrange. Challenge for the day, and try to reflect on how maybe this is already happening in your life. So if it's already happening, you might as well be strategic and be on the right side of it all, be on the right side of the energy.